What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Dude, some crazy stuff just came out. So I woke up this morning, right? And I was going through Reddit and stuff, and a lot of people were posting that the Apple store was down. And I was pretty much assuming that, okay, they're dropping some product. And I had a feeling they were going to drop new iPads, but I didn't know they were going to release two. Now, there were rumors going around before that we talked about a new iPad coming out early 2019. And I even made some renders about the iPad mini 5. And it's crazy that Apple actually released a new iPad Air and also a new iPad mini as well, which is awesome. You know, I like that a lot. And at first I was super joyous, if that's even a word. I was like, this is so awesome. But after reading about both of them and looking at the specifications of both these devices, I can tell you, like, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of in a weird spot. Okay, now I love the iPads. I've owned every single iPad mini. I've owned both of the iPad Airs, now the third one, but all the iPad Airs before this one I've owned. And I even used the iPad Air 2 as a main device for a main tablet, and I liked it a lot. But I just think they kind of sit at a weird spot and just kind of makes the iPad layout a little weird. So first of all, looking at both of them, I mean, they're both the older design, as you can see from the photos. You know, I thought they were going to go bezel-less, and the crazy thing is they both still have the home button, and that's kind of crazy to think because that means Apple is still manufacturing these type of home buttons and they still see a future with Touch ID, because we haven't seen a device that was released since the $329 iPad of last year with a home button. You know, the iPhones didn't have home buttons, the iPad Airs, and no other iPhone or iPad since that has been released with a home button. And I thought they were done for good, and I didn't think they were going to re-release any iPads. And I still love Touch ID, I like it a lot, but it's kind of crazy that they were to release this and not go the bezel-less route, you know? And another weird thing, they just dropped the numbers of the iPad, so it's not the iPad Air 3 or the iPad mini 5, it's just the iPad Air 2019 and the iPad mini 2019. I kind of wish they actually went further and named them the Air 3 and the Mini 5, because now when I type it in titles and things like that, it just kind of looks a little bit off, but I guess that's kind of an afterthought. And now the overall layout of the iPads is extremely crazy. There's so many iPads at so many different price points, which is honestly, in my opinion, it's kind of smart, since Apple, you know, there's a larger price category, you know, starting with a $329 one up to like the $1,000 or whatever $1,300 one, the most expensive one is. So people have a lot of playing ground with the price points. So if they want a mid-tier one, they can go get the Air 2. If they want a smaller one, the Mini 5. If they want the whatever, they can go get that. And I think that's smart, but it's also a little confusing in that sense too. Now this next thing, you know, I always talk about photography and cameras and how it's really not that important, whatever, but seeing a downgrade in the camera from one generation to another is extremely crazy. Now this iPad Air, in my opinion, is replacing the 10.5-inch iPad Pro from 2017. Okay, this pretty much looks exactly identical to it. It's pretty much the same in every single category like that too. So I think this is supposed to be like a successor to that. Now I want you to remember that, okay? Now from that 2017 iPad Pro, that thing had a 12 megapixel camera. You can shoot 4K on it, but this iPad, you can't even shoot 4K on it. You can only shoot 1080p videos, and it's only an 8 megapixel sensor from what I've seen online, which is insane. Now this is for the iPad Air. This is crazy. I mean, that's the same sensor that was in the iPhone 6. Think about it. That iPhone 6 came out in 2014. The iPad Air 2, I think, came out in 2014 or 2013, somewhere around there. These devices should have a better camera. You know, for spending, I think, $499 for the 64 gig model, that's $500, including tax. That's like almost $600, dude. That's so much money to drop on a tablet, a brand new one that can't even shoot 4K on it, and it's an 8 megapixel sensor. The front camera is 7 megapixel sensor, so they improved that one. And I understand not many people are using the cameras on their iPads. I never used it on my iPad either, but that doesn't mean that we should have a subpar piece in our device, you know? So just because we don't use it doesn't mean we don't want it there. And it's not like we're never going to use it. People use their cameras on their iPads all the time, I'm sure. Another weird thing is that they kept the headphone jacks on both of them. You know, where the top Pro models of last year, they actually removed them. So it makes no sense. You know, I understand they just kind of took the body from the earlier ones and just refreshed them. So it's an internal refresh, but I still find it kind of funny. Like, they're trying to sell these AirPods and they're trying to make, you know, a no headphone jack line. So I'm surprised they didn't remove it. And like I stated before, with the iPad Air, the new one, you know, like, it's pretty much the same as the 10.5-inch iPad before, with a newer chipset, which is nice. It has the A12 chip. The 10.5-inch from 2017 has the Apple A10X. But here's the thing, the iPad Air 3, the 2019 one, it has 2 speakers on it, where the 10.5-inch iPad has 4. So that's kind of weird in and of itself. And the iPad Air of 2019 lacks ProMotion display, where the iPad of 2017, the Pro version, 10.5-inch, had that inside of it where you can go extremely fast. I remember a lot of people making videos about it. It looked super, super sick, and I don't understand why Apple took it away on this device. Like, it makes no sense. And that's a pretty big downgrade in and of itself. But here's the crazier thing. I didn't know this was actually true until I read about it. They actually put 1 less gig of RAM on the iPad Air than they did on the 2017 iPad Pro 10.5-inch, which is insane. That device from 2017 had 4 gigs of RAM, where the iPad Air now has 3 gigs of RAM. Okay, now comparing both specs right now, as a device gets newer and newer, you would expect it to be better and better, and in some cases, dude, this iPad kind of lacks, especially the iPad Air. But here's the crazier thing, and here's why it's a weird situation. The iPad Air costs less in retail value and the brand new value than the iPad Pro costs in retail value brand new. So in a lot of sense, you know, you're pretty much paying less for less of a device, which in theory makes sense, but you would expect it to be better than, you know, at least like the predecessor, you know, a better camera, keeping the promotion display, quad speakers on it. And I just think it's kind of a weird situation. Like I don't hate it. I like it. I love the iPads. They're a little bit more expensive than I thought, but I just think honestly, it's kind of a weird situation that these iPads are in. And like I stated, I don't hate them. I love iPads. I used all of them pretty much. I own all of them except the new ones, but I just think it's kind of a weird situation. And I was kind of curious, and I actually looked on Amazon, and I found that the 2017 256 gig 10.5 inch iPad Pros are actually cheaper than the 256 gig 2019 iPad Airs. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description. It'll be the first link down there. If you want to buy that specific iPad Pro that I'm talking about, I personally think it's a better device and a kind of a better deal, you know, than the iPad Air, the brand new one. So if you want to purchase that, it'll be the first link down there. I think it's like $500 and something, and I would probably recommend that more than the $599 iPad Air. So I'll let you guys figure it out from there, but that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.